into cinema's boldest, bloodiest, and most stylish corners. And this month we're continuing our love letter to Italian genre cinema with Giallo January. All month long, we're celebrating Giallo film, a genre defined by black glove killers, twisted psychology, lurid color palettes, and titles that somehow manage to both be poetic and completely unhinged. And this week we're embracing that tradition with one of the most infamous long titles in the genre, Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. Released in the early 1970s, this film represents Giallo at its sleaziest and most psychological, blending murder mystery with erotic obsession, domestic cruelty, and Edgar Allan Poe-inspired dread. Set largely within a decaying mansion, soaked in paranoia and resentment, the film trades in operatic violence and Baroque style for something more intimate and uncomfortable, a story of power, desire, and corruption that simmers before it explodes. It's a different flavor of Giallo, but one that shows just how elastic and daring the genre could be during its peak. We'll be talking about where this film fits within the golden age of Giallo, how it uses atmosphere over excess, and whether its reputation holds up alongside the genre's most visually flamboyant classics. So lock the doors, hide the key, and prepare for jealousy, betrayal, and blood. This is the First Last podcast from the First to Last Nerdom, and Giallo January continues with Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key.
Yes, sir. Great intro.
Yeah.
Great intro. I don't know if it's you or maybe it's just me, but those get better all the time. I think maybe it's just that we get better at maybe trundling our way through them. Although I still think that you do a better job than I do. Yeah. So I am ML here with Tom, and this is the FirstLastNerdom.com. That's our website where you can find us always. As well as here on YouTube. As you can see, we should be live now. I believe, yeah, we're going live. So we're back. We took a little bit of a thing off that so we could save up the live things, but we're back now live and back and ready to hit it. And then Tom, I see that you are on Reddit. Is that true?
Yes, under First Last Nerdom. Try to promote ourselves on various subreddits, and I'm also on X under the same name, First Last Nerdom, and I promote our stuff there as well. So if you want to know what our latest stuff is, you can check us out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can also find me as well as Tom at Sofa King Jewish _ on X, or as always on YouTube, where we prefer to have our conversations. We have got quite a bit of feedback, and just wanted to say thank you so much to the 443 people who decided to say yes and watch our stuff either all routinely or occasionally. So we're very grateful for that. So this week. We're continuing, as Tom said, Giallo January, and this one was different.
Yeah, we both had it on our list, so when we're cross checking, this one was on both our lists. So
yeah,
kind of lucked out.
yeah, that, and then there's another one which we will talk about a little bit later, perhaps in store. But this one. I was so happy to be able to find this. It was pretty easy to find, and I'll just cover that real quick here. You can pretty much see it at free, either Tubi, I think, or Plex. I
Plex
thought I
looks
saw
like
Tubi. Pardon?
yeah, it might be on Tubi. Just watch. Doesn't always is up to date. It used to be, but now I've noticed that
You're right.
sometimes it'll
Yeah,
it'll
but
not always show all of the stuff that's on Tubi. Maybe because Tubi has so much. I don't know.
yeah, but it definitely is for sure out there on excuse me
Yeah,
on
it is. It is on Tubi. You're, it also has the other couple of giallos that this same guy who directed this one has. There's also the Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward, which is interesting that you would have two giallos with Vice in it, and I guess the one that everybody lauds over even Quentin Tarantino. Sergio Martino did also Torso, which is anytime you see a interview with Sergio, at least on the Blu-ray I have of this one. he always says, "Well, I really hadn't watched your Vices in a while, but that Torso, I saw that recently, and man, does that still land with the audience?" So I don't know where he puts your Vices locked room as far as his movies, but you can tell his favorite, which is Torso. I have to say this one was interesting in 1972. It's not too bloated. It's an hour and 34-minute movie, um, and it does have a kind of a slower pace. We were talking about how opera last week was kind of never stops. This movie does have its moment, and I think in the third act things kind of drag a little bit. Because we won't get too spoilery, but they usually wait till the end to reveal the killer, but it's almost done in kind of an offhanded way. It's like, oh yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, this one is loosely based, like you mentioned in the intro, on Edgar Allan Poe's *The Black Cat*, and it follows. Of course, I can't. Luigi. I think that's what it is. I think. Good grief! Here, let me go to the cast here. I'm not as confident. Yeah, that's right. Luigi Pistilli as Olerio, who's this drunk, abusive writer. He's got a. Would you say he has a mother complex? Tom, would you say that his psychological makeup is one of somebody who has issues with his mom?
Maybe just had he also kind of his looks anyway kind of remind me of James Caan. Just the way he looks, you know.
Yeah.
The director in his interview said that he was a kind of a fun-loving guy that's had a lot of jokes on when you were working with him. Although he said that he usually plays more of a darker character, but he thought that the humor kind of covers some darkness within him, which may be a little bit more leaning towards what happened later in his life. I think his son. I think his son died, and then he broke up with the woman that he was seeing. Broke up with him, and he ended up killing himself in 1996. So had kind of a darkness around it. But I see he was in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
few
God.
dollars more.
Yeah. Obviously iconic. He's been through a lot of Italian, more Italian flicks than anything else. But yeah, he was. I thought the acting was pretty good overall. Like I didn't have any complaints. Like actually the acting was pretty good enough for you to really dislike some of.
Yeah. Everybody. Everybody has sort of a no one's like clean. You know, everybody has a little bit of a mess. That you're talking about how the guy's kind of got Luigi's kind of got like a mommy fetish, but and he loves that dress, and the women just can't stop but putting themselves into the dress. I don't know. There's there's no supernatural thing in it, but you can tell that there's a lot of possession and people are kind of effed in the head in this movie.
Well, everybody has this. The beach ball is jealousy, or insecurity. Sometimes not even that. It's just the insecurity of the character that they just drip it. Depending upon who you have, everybody's miserable. Everybody's got about a foot of dirt on them, that to clean away. Even when they do, they're still not quite.
Yeah, it starts with the sort of like I guess it's the wake of his mother, and the local hippies have been invited to hang out with them, and they're just the hippies are just having a good time, whereas the the husband and wife are going through it basically, and they do have like somewhat of an innocent bystander. We really don't get to know her too much. The maid, the black maid, that it's almost like the fact that she's black was kind of put on a pedestal or something. Kind of another, I guess, another aspect to be fetishized about. And yeah, you kind of wonder what happened before this movie, takes place, and yeah, and it kind of you kind of go through all the characters, and they all have some kind of an ending by the end of the movie.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, there is a these people are they're throwing parties. They're kind of throwing themselves out there. They're libatious, or very very loaded. Like that, I was gonna joke and say, this is what happened if Edgar Allan Poe gets drunk in Italy.
Poe's drunken.
Yeah, J&B. Yeah, J&B whiskey. It was a very big thing back in the 70s for sure. For sure, Italian Giallos. Oh man.
But yeah, it's one of those. It doesn't have the same flavor as a Dario Argento one. It's more of kind of focused more on the relationship between the husband and wife, and how it affects the people around them, and also the niece shows up. And one of the interesting things, the niece is never really revealed to be truly the niece. The Eli Roth did like a 10-minute appraisal of the movie on the Blu-ray that I got, and he made the comment that the niece, played by Edwige Fenech, I think is how you pronounce her name. She you kind of get the idea that maybe it could be someone that's posing as the niece, maybe for nefarious reasons, maybe to get at the jewelry or whatever. But yeah, and then. Edwige, she's sort of like there to have sex with just about everybody.
Well, and she plays the younger, sexually liberated, disruptor, if you will. That like a dynamo. That would be another way to put it. Like not as it builds.
Yeah, and she previously in her movies had played the good girl. This is the first time she got to play the naughty role, where her morality is a little bit more questionable. But then again, everybody in this movie is somewhat questionable. I guess the maid isn't, but yeah, she gets dealt with relatively quick.
Well, yeah. She sticks around.
Yeah. She has a little comfy hole thing on it.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. You have these people. You have this abusive man, this asshole of a guy. Making his wife do these horrible things. Or two things like humiliated. He's that kind of guy who likes to play that he has to see somebody else suffering in order for him to be happy. You get that? I don't know if you got that, but that's what he's. Just absolute dog shit as a person. And aside from being the worst person, the worst husband in the world.
Yeah.
You're
yeah, he's completely unhappy with his life, and he's taking it out on everybody around him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
he's a writer that doesn't write.
Right. Yeah, and their house too. It kind of mirrors their marriage. I don't know if you know, like just kind of crumbly and rotting and not sound at all.
Yeah, a lot of rooms with no one in it.
Yeah, just
more of a house than a home.
Yeah, that's got to be an Italian thing. They must have like old things from like forever ago.
Yeah. I think it might have been a French villa from what I was gathering from the interviews I saw. There's no commentary. This is shout out to Arrow Films. This is they this Blu-ray came out in like 2015. So it's not readily available anymore. It's off their list of stuff that's currently available. But I got it back in the day. I just never got around to watching it. So there's not a. I don't think there's a 4K at this. This is off of a 2K scan, but it's a Blu-ray, so it's 1080p is the highest resolution on it. But yeah, it has some interviews. It has a couple of interviews with the director. Like I said, this isn't like his favorite movie. In fact, he hasn't seen it when he was interviewed. He didn't rewatch it. He says he's quoted as saying, "It's not as bad as what the critics made it out to be at the time, the Italian critics." But it's not as great as what the fans make it today. So he's sort of like it's somewhere in the middle, you know.
I can see that. Yeah.
And they have an interview with Edwige Fenech. She's, it was shot in 2015, I believe, and she's as attractive as she was in the film. So she age didn't put a number on her in this one. Also, the writer of it was interviewed as well as part of the interviews. And like I said, Eli Roth, there's like a little retrospective about her career as well that was done. And there's like a video essay where the guy kind of goes over the Giallo and movie output of Sergio Martino. And she's also close to them in that she was actually had a relationship with Sergio's brother, that Luciano Martino. Sergio feels that she's part of the family, that she's more of a sister to him than, just an actress.
Right. A family member for sure.
Yeah.
They make these things together. Yeah. What'd you think of her role and how she played how she quickly
manipulated everybody?
yeah. Yet to her credit, she did a very good job. What were your thoughts on that? When as you kind of see, you see these people, you see this guy, and he's awful, and you see her, and she's gross.
Yeah. Even though the wife is a lot of times she's the victim in a lot of the stuff, you never really feel too sympathetic for her because she has her own thing. I think it's partly with the cat. Like she's the one that hates Satan. Satan's the cat, and she's very cruel to the cat. She doesn't just hate it. She whops it with the broom, and she mutilates the cat a little bit later on. So yeah, you never get to the point where you're sympathetic to her. Otherwise, you might have been. It's kind of like I said, everybody's kind of greasy and dirty in this movie, and she's Anita Strindberg.
Strindberg
did a very good job of making the woman unsympathetic, which is I think what the movie needed. She's like a good counterbalance to the husband. They're both cruel in their own ways.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say I have to think about it, but okay, there we go. Yeah. So if we get, hopefully we don't get.
Yeah, struck. Yeah.
If not, then I'll if you see me quick light through the photos, there it is. But still waiting on the appeal from the other one. But anyway, yeah. So you have Florina, his niece, and we don't spend too much time on that. We just kind of move on. Plus, it's Italian, so maybe something is lost in translation. We'll just call it that.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to have both known her when she was much younger, and she's Phil out, and that's one of the things that they comment on. Another thing to be kind of sleazed out by the movie, family member that they both have designs on.
She doesn't wait. Yeah, and the cat, she the wife doesn't. Yeah, sorry, you covered that. Copied my notes twice there. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's that title is a mouthful. I got it a little messed up on when I first made the thumbnail. But yeah, it's interesting. There was a little meme thing that someone did. I posted it on my X, so if you kind of dig through there, where Giallo titles can could be like super long.
Yeah, this one, I enjoy. I honestly, this was like really nice to watch this. Because like just much like the late '80s, like last week when we did opera.
Opera. Hmm.
Yeah, that was very very cinematically it looked '80s, but
Yeah.
in a good way, not in a
Right.
rundown way or whatever. Likewise, this also feels very much like the '70s, and just like a lot of some of the others, we kind of got a little bit into earlier giallo, like within the '60s. I think we did the Black and Blood Lace,
Hmm.
but this one '70s that was kind of it was cool. It was also cool. Italy. Some things
Hmm.
kind of take a little bit longer. I do agree the pacing was a little bit there. This isn't like like it's not my most favorite, but it holds enough attention to like to see and what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is sort of a grown up Giallo. It's grown up in the sense that it's dealing with people that are adults with adult themes, with this sort of damaged and tortured love, where a romance with no romance, a love without no love. It's just people going through the motions, and their fetishes are what drives them. It's the thing they're more like possessions to each other, and they treat their each other's lives as cheaply as that. So it's more adult themes, but also an adult giallo in that. He's comfortable with the genre, Sergio Martino, and he's really playing with the themes of a giallo, and kind of twisting them on their head. It's like I said, it's more of a relationship movie with a giallo in the background almost. And like I said, that you do have the inspector guy that goes around, and in this one he's not as
Bumbling.
he's a little bit more competent than the one from the previous opera, but not by much. He's sort of kind of bumbling around. The Franco Nebbia is the inspector. He's kind of a fun to watch on the screen. Like I say, he's kind of a bumbling guy, and they do get their man, but he kind of stumbles into it. But yeah, I like the fact that everybody's so despicable and gross in this movie that really the killer could be any of them. Whereas the previous movie Opera, there wasn't a long list of people that it could be as far as the killer. This one is kind of overflowing with them, and so when the killer is revealed, it's not too big of a surprise, but also the fact that there may be more than one killer is kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, I definitely. It's funny how you get shades of noir too, right? So like,
Hmm.
and also this also you can I being from a point of view of like somebody who hadn't real until recently really appreciated horror. You can also see I can also see things that like back when I thought horror was just a slasher film. It's funny
Hmm.
to kind of come full square, yeah, or
Hmm.
circle, whatever it is, and see kind of elements of like a slasher or the splashy kind of it's more colorful and bright. That's the thing I like about the yeah, and it can be dark too, but
Hmm.
to see all these people and to see them like just these horrible people. And the only good
Yeah.
thing is like it reminded me the other day. I said something the other day to a friend, and I said something like we were walking by and it was like a dog, and I was like, oh well, something like the old refrain. Well, yeah, uh, I like dogs, but I don't like people.
Hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but everybody is absolutely miserable. And they just
Hmm.
kind of it's just kind of seem like how they can take pleasure from somebody else's
Pain
torment
in there. Yeah.
or pain or just or just control too. That could be
Hmm.
thrown. There's just there's a lot of interplay going on.
Yeah, yeah. And there's that poor delivery guy that gets mixed up into the whole mess, and yeah, he's just looking to have a good time. One of the lesser dubious of characters in it, but yeah, there's like a 10-minute interview with Eli Roth where he talks about Sergio Martino's movies, and he said that when he made, speaking of horror, when he made the Hostel movies, he had the look of a Sergio film in his mind that he kind of based a lot of his camera work in those movies on a Sergio Martino Giallo, and that's his big influence for the Hostel movies. And he actually got Edwige. She's actually became like a big film producer in Italy, and she came out of retirement to play a teacher in one of the opening scenes of one of the Hostel movies. So if you look closely, you'll see her in there. But yeah, like I said, she's a beautiful woman, even in her later age. And but yeah, so you would think maybe Dario would be more of an influence, but no, it's Sergio. And this is my first movie of his. I have not seen his previous ones. Like I said, I know that Quentin is a big fan of Torso as well, so maybe we'll visit that at a later date. But yeah, this one's maybe doesn't get quite the love that Torso does, but it does. It's interesting. They did say that they didn't torture the cat, but you know they kind of kept her feeding times until you know her scene was going to be filmed, so that she was hungry, so that when they you know would wave some food in her, she would take directions well. And they said that you know the scenes where she's hissing, they had to bring various dogs onto set that caused her to bristle up, so that's why she's kind of getting mad during some of those scenes. But director did say that she was well cared for.
Right. That's awesome. Well, and I was gonna say too, to add to, like, when you say like the wife was like mean to the cat, it was like she was like 70s mean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like, not like a shoo shoo, or like a, you know, a thing like a full on if it falls too heavy, you're gone.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah.
Very true. But yeah, it's like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. Yeah, it's not like the best Giallo movie out there, you know, but it like I said, it's done by a competent director that knows what he's doing, and like I said, you've got the killer that's killing, and that kind of grips you on the first half of the movie, and then you know the niece shows up, and there's a lot of sex. You know, if you're if you like those 70s sex scenes, you know, you get a couple of them here, and then it kind of dragged a little bit for me, and then things pick up towards the end where the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Black Cat, kind of comes to its fruition, full circle, and it really there is a definite payoff at the end. But yeah, I would have to say that, you know, right at the 2/3 point of the movie, it kind of drags a little bit for me. There is Denise gets dealt with later on, and there's an interesting scene with a motorcycle, and it keeps cutting to a lingerie ad, a billboard, and it's visually interesting. Them cutting back and forth from that. I don't know if its full meaning kind of gets played out or what. It's just interesting to see.
Yeah, everybody kind of takes a turn
Mhm.
for sharing in the blood, the spill of blood.
Yeah, and it does have that 70s kind of blood. You know, that bright, vibrant red.
Right.
Yeah, Eli Roth said that when he was a kid and he saw movies like this, he would always go, well, that's not how blood's supposed to look like. But he said now that he's gotten older, he kind of appreciates that for its aesthetic. That it's a Sergio movie. You got that bright blood, which I think I'm with him on that. It used to bother me that it was kind of fake looking, but it has a bit of a charm to it as well.
Well, it has that's that J&B that I
yeah, almost an advertisement for JB, or is it really?
Right. Well, I mean, who knows? But different time and place for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The I was gonna say the everybody kind of takes a turn. All these people are awful. Although they're it ends up being of like not a game of Clue or who done it or whatever. It's more like who has who's going to get revenge and betrayal first or last or somewhere in between on the intermix of all these people because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
when you get down to it.
Yeah, I noticed one of our commenters on at least I believe it was on Reddit where they said that they didn't like the soundtrack of opera. I guess they weren't a fan of the bombastic opera and the metal sounds, but this one has more of a traditional Italian giallo soundtrack with a kind of a mix of kind of jazzy, kind of with mixed with harpsichords and whatnot.
Of its era.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm like a complete fan of it, but there is points where it was quite good. I enjoy a good harpsichord now and again, but yeah, it was definitely wasn't out of place for what it was at the time. 1972 is when it was put out. But yeah, like you said, it's got a very 70s look, maybe a little bit of late 60s, but definitely it's wearing the 70s shoes quite well, whereas opera was definitely an 80s movie.
Yeah, I was just seeing that the erotic thriller. It's Italian and Giallo. That's kind of a loose way. Yeah, and I was gonna say too. The scenes are from the 70s. Yeah, they can't go on a little long, but the pacing was all right. This isn't in my absolute favorite Giallo. Like I said, and I'm probably would go in at. We don't really do I say
the
this
ratings,
all the time.
yeah.
Like, the ratings, but I don't think it's a 6. I think it's upper.
Maybe a solid 7.5.
Yeah, definitely on the border for sure. There's some things that work better than others, but you have such depth with this, and it's also a different kind of film that I'm used to seeing, which is also to me, I like kind of, especially if we've gone through a bunch of more modern films. It's fun, especially something that's foreign.
Yeah.
But I do wish that there was more commentary out there. I did try to see if there was maybe fan commentary, but I couldn't find any.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you could turn on like a Sunday afternoon and watch it and enjoy it. It's kind of got that, after brunch, you throw this on and enjoy it. In fact, one of the better memories the actress has, Edwige, during filming, she said that they stayed at that villa, and the caretaker there, the lady was an older lady that she would make them onion omelets, and that's her biggest memory.
Okay.
Getting up and eating an onion omelet before they would start filming. Not sure. I don't know if I've ever had just onions with my omelets, but she said it was fresh eggs and onions, so it was quite tasty.
Interesting. Yeah. So, where do you think this comes in as far as you're more the horror expert? Where does this come in as far as a proto slasher?
Well, you do have the killer. Yeah, there's a killer there that's going around killing women with a hooked blade, and yeah. So yeah. Yeah, and black gloves. Yeah, it's not too gratuitous, but it's still not, something you'd probably show grandma. So yeah, especially because of the sex and violence. But yeah, it's it's definitely, like I said, it did influence some people. Eli Roth with his Hostel movies. It was had influenced him there, and also we keep if we say his name too much, he might appear. But Quentin Tarantino, he's a fan of Sergio, so maybe more so with Torso, but I'm sure this one's he's quite familiar with this one as well. But
Yeah,
it kind of has that vibe for it because there's a lot of dialogue and interplay between people, dashing around what they want, their desires, and the dialogue in it is even though the one of the things about Italian movies is that sound's not real key. That when they film a movie, they don't really they may record dialogue, but it's never recorded in a way that's usable. So in the Italian movie, most of them are going to be dubbed, whether it's dubbed into their original language or what. But yeah, so you do get that kind of odd vibe to it when it's a dub movie. You get that sense of unreality with the sound, but so yeah, it's unfortunate that their focus on audio isn't as keen as American filmmakers. So it does gives it that kind of odd element to it, but there is quite a lot of interesting dialogue between the people, and I can see where that would tickle Tarantino's fancy a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Well, and also, well, you had mentioned Edwige. She was she didn't she and this is my first Martino. This is only from my notes, but didn't she play the victim versus like what? I mean, not really
In
spoiling
his
anything.
other Vices movie, yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
so it's funny how she kind of takes on this Machiavellian, and when I say villain, everybody's a villain in this film. So
Yeah.
that's not really giving anything away. I mean, if we talk a little bit more about it, but I
Yeah,
don't know if
all of their it's all kind of self-interest in this movie.
that's a good way to put it. I think we've kind of tiptoed around long enough. And the thing, I don't know if did you want to get into the spoiler territory
Yeah, we
and
can.
talk about kind of the interplay? Otherwise, we're going to run out of.
Stuff to really, yeah, I guess the meat of it, so to speak, is the killer turns out to be like the shop owner. One of the killers. The killer
Yeah.
is he's the one that's just killing women for, I guess, his sadistic pleasure, and it's implied. Yeah, the husband gets very close to being a suspect, and so they decide to hire the maid. That one's a little too close to home, so they hide her body down in the cellar.
In the basement. Yeah.
Yeah, behind the wall.
Patch it over.
Yeah.
Little did they know they caught a little visitor there too.
Exactly, Satan.
Yeah. It's funny how the I wonder how the name came about. See, this is the thing of like a commentary that would be great, like how these little kind of little silly little side thing. I don't know. I have no idea. I just brought it up, but I don't know. Yeah, this you see how people die too is interesting, and who does and how they pick how they die from. Obviously, if other than the guy just butchering women like left and right.
Yeah, yeah, and there's sort of like a the husband's kind of going through it. He's a bit of an alcoholic. He's drinking. So you have to wonder if maybe his mind, he's thinking, oh well, maybe did I black out? Am I the killer? And so the fact that there's a killer in the atmosphere, it kind of encourages them to follow their own sadistic ideas. And he's got eyes on the niece, maybe bump off his wife, and him and the niece can go off. And the wife hears that and decides that she's going to maybe take things into her own hand. Yeah.
Yeah,
and she has sort of like a sidekick there. It's never really said who he was exactly, or maybe I wasn't watching it closely enough. But the white haired guy, that bumps off the
Lost me.
the niece and her fella.
Most of them I could connect the dots on, but I'm not gonna lie. There's probably about 15% that I'm like I'd have to go back and like connect the dots on, or like Google, like what's the thing, and then you kind of get it. But not sure. But yeah, you have she sets this up, and the wife is like, okay, you guys want to be together, okay? Sure,
I get to take care of things
forever in the ground.
Yeah. And then the cat has her or his revenge.
The cat is a silent observer. Yeah, this I don't know. This typically you don't really get judgmental things like in a slasher. The other thing, the difference between a slasher and like a giallo like this, or is the like there's like a punishment, or there's some kind of like a moral punishment.
Sex equals death. Yeah,
right. Yeah, like the victims. Like in a slasher, it's all young teenagers or whatever, or young adults who are
it's the virgin that ends up saving the day.
right. But this is like everybody's awful.
Yeah,
and it's funny how the cat comes into play, like, which is the Edgar Allan twist. We won't spoil that too much, but we kind of already hinted at it. But it is interesting, and it's like, yeah, just give me the cat. Screw these people.
Yeah, I think the cat decides to have her revenge when she gets her eyes, one of her eyes taken out. That's the undoing, because the kindly old lady that collects the bottles, she has to report that that violence against the cat, and it sort of does in the wife at the end.
Yeah, you have a cast that have the abusive drunk, the murderous wife, two con artists. you have the cat is the moral compass, like the judge and jury in a way.
She's the eyes with who the audience kind of witnesses the the goings on. But yeah, that picturesque villa holds a lot of murder and lust and betrayal within its beautiful setting. But yeah, it's one of those, like I said, it's a cool movie to throw on in an afternoon. Like I said, it doesn't spoil your whole day. It's only an hour and a half long, and tells an interesting story with some interesting characters.
What is that? Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell that was. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, no, this was a good, solid one. Like I said, this is my favorite, but I need to watch this one maybe a few more times, like compared like with some other ones, because like we're kind of fresh and the thing. And next week will be just as fun as this one, if not more. Like we're really filling it out. But this was a staple in kind of the grindhouse circuit, in Italy, or in Europe, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, like before, it was it's been credited as influencing slasher genre before Hollywood came on later on, a few years later, late 70s, with Halloween.
Yeah, it's one of those that are appreciated by the Giallo fans, but isn't maybe wider known than outside the scope of Giallo. And except the director said, maybe it's not as good as some of the fans make it out to be, but it's definitely not a bad movie.
I can see where it's less stylized than Argento, and it has, it's like it's more about the characters and the interplay with them, and and it's got is violent or gory as Argento is his, the sleazier part. I don't know, like I don't have
with the Dario, it's a lot less about logic and emotion, and it's more of a stylishly clever and kind of bombastic in its soundscape and whatnot. Whereas this one, like I said, the thing that I kept coming back to is very adult in in its topic and how it plays out. And if you're kind of interested in sort of a dark mystery with some interesting people and interesting dialogue and a lot of weird sexuality and fetish stuff that you can kind of sink your teeth into about these dark individuals, then there's plenty of stuff to mull over as you watch this on a nice Sunday afternoon, getting mixed up with these dark characters.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, well, Argento, like you to cap what you were saying. Well, he's worried about the lighting and the camera angles. Martino is worried about J&B whiskey.
Yeah, having a drink with a beautiful woman in your sights.
Yeah, definitely.
That you might end up having sex with or torturing, or maybe a little both.
You're right, or both of them, for that matter. Really,
absolutely.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed this one. And I was going to say, did you want to do the one thing later, or did you want to do it now? The song thing.
Yeah, there's a song I was playing around. And we do the AI slop occasionally, and but yeah, I was playing around with because you got Dario with his very loud and 80s sort of metal songs that I thought, well, maybe I could come up with a Giallo, heavy metal Giallo song. I think I gave you two, although I'm more inclined towards the I think that top one. So if you would just want to play that one, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
It's all good 80s songs. You got that long intro.
Projector starts to spin. Red on marble, a razor kiss the skin. Black leather hands leave fingerprints in wine. A screaming shadow frozen in the light. Black gloves on celluloid, silver screen soaked in red. Eyes in the dark, enjoy it, while the beautiful end up dead. Black gloves on celluloid, twist the knife in the frame. You can't crawl out of the story, but it still calls your name.
Yeah, and that one's called Black Gloves on Celluloid. It's kind of pulls together the themes of a Giallo.
Well, I was gonna say it's crazy how the lyrics, like how it knows how to weave everything together like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it looks at the the tropes of a Giallo and kind of does a little song with it. So yeah.
Black gloves on celluloid, silver screen soaked in red. Eyes in the dark, enjoy it, while the beautiful end up dead. Black gloves on celluloid, twist the knife and the frame. You can't crawl out of the story, but it still calls your name.
But yeah, I could see this in a Dario Giallo or even a slasher movie. It works.
Oh yeah.
Works both ways.
Stone Cold Stone, heartbeat metronome, painted nails, broken glass, every flashback turns to black.
That is the Giallo. That's a whole fucking lineup for one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, what a great treat for Giallo January. hitting our full stride here mid-month with our Giallo January, and that's not just the only one that we did. No, sir, I'm gonna quit.
Yeah, that picture is sort of a hint at what we may be covering next week.
Maybe. Yeah, for sure. But I think that, anything else you want to add, or did we forget anything to cover, or recommendations that they're in for somebody who comes into Giallo? Where do you think this one would maybe be a little bit more approachable than opera, or would you recommend opera over this one if somebody was coming in and wanted to see a Giallo? What would you recommend?
I think this one's more, even though it kind of plays and kind of stretches the boundaries of a Giallo a little bit. This one's more of a strictly kind of a by the numbers Giallo. So yeah, it would probably be a good first one to see if you're kind of interested in it. Operas sort of kind of wallops you over the head and it just keeps going. So that one may be a little bit more confusing, whereas this one's more palatable for the uninitiated. So yeah, it's it doesn't go too far over in style. It tells an engaging story that kind of gives you sort of a sense of what a Giallo can be.
Yeah, and some could argue that well, opera is not quite a Giallo right on the head. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun. The only bad thing about Giallo January is that like every month you only get like 4 stabs at it, but you wish there was a longer time span to really get into a wealth of Giallos, but that doesn't mean that it's only one month of the year, or I'm sure we'll revisit the Giallo.
We will juggle the Giallo again soon.
Yeah.
It's one that Tom and I like to slip into, and also check out some other things out there that we've been doing and look out for it. But as far as it goes, I've been Mike.
And I'm Tom. Kind of keep away from those killers with black gloves.